Hi, I'm Hazel. It's Saturday today, which makes it time to sit down and catch up on the WoW news of the week, what I have been up to, and answer some of your questions. This week, there was a major WoW news drop with the announcement that Blizzard is in fact doing a Shadowlands Season 4 with some mega changes. So this is going to mean a new PvP season with the Eternal Gladiator title. It is going to mean new Vicious Mounts. It is going to mean a new Mythic Plus season, and they're doing an entirely different dungeon pool. Here is the list of dungeons. You've got mega dungeon halves from previous expansions, and then there is a forum poll going where people can vote for which pair of Draenor dungeons they want to have included in this Season 4 dungeon pool. At first I figured that they would definitely do it like on top of existing dungeons, because it seems really weird for them to retire Mists of Tyr Scythe and Sanguine Depths and whatnot, like in the middle, not in the middle, but you know, like while Shadowlands is still active. But the more I think about it, the more I think that maybe this is just instead of those dungeons, because this is a pretty good spread of dungeons. And if they were going to include the existing Shadowlands dungeons, then why single out Tazavesh? So that's the dungeon pool. And then for raids, they're going to have all Shadowlands raids, so Nathria, Sanctum, and Sepulchre tuned up to like a relevant level of difficulty, and then dropping better loot with some kind of like progenitor-themed raid affix system, which would be something completely brand new in order to keep them fresh, because you thought you were done with Sylvanas and you're wrong. This is a pretty out of left field thing for them to do. They've never really done anything like this before that I know of, but I think it sounds really cool, and I think it's a great way to keep the game relatively healthy, or at least healthier than it otherwise would have been, while we wait for the team to get on making the next expansion. These kinds of things take time, and Blizzard doesn't really have a great track record with like whipping out expansions on the turn of a dime, especially not after a bunch of difficulty. So I would assume that we're going to be in Shadowlands for a while yet, but at least we'll have some stuff to do in the meantime. They said that Season 4 is going to start after Season 3 has run for a typical duration. General season duration varies a lot, actually. We've had some very short seasons, especially back during Legion, but it wouldn't be unusual for it to be kind of like 4 or 5 months, and then even up to 6 months, and then if you assume another 6 months, you know, for this next season, then that gives like about a year to develop the new expansion. I don't know if that's what it's going to be, but I feel like that would be less painful than just being in Zereth Mortis for a whole year, especially because unless you're a collector, there's not a ton of stuff to do out in Zereth Mortis once you've kind of gotten your main power gains out of there. So this is going to be kind of a cool thing to have on the horizon. I'm excited to get back into Nathria. It was a really cool raid, and I'm starting to miss it a little bit. And then maybe by the time that this actually comes around, because, you know, it's going to be a while yet, maybe by the time that we actually get to Shadowlands Season 4, maybe by then I will miss Sanctum of Domination and be ready to fight Painsmith and Sylvanas again and Rokalo, and maybe not feeling ready yet. The other big piece of news for the week was when Blizzard announced that the Mage Tower is going to be coming back earlier than expected, and it's sticking around permanently. It is no longer going to be this very limited time availability, like couple weeks on and then months and months off sort of thing. They have posted this and saying that it's just going to be coming back and staying, which is great news for people that want to continue to work on achieving their book mount for completing all 7 challenges. I myself might like scratch away at working on some more of the armor sets. I managed to only do like 5 across 7 challenges. I think I only did 5 armor sets, so there's definitely more to get, but I guess I'm not going to be in that big of a hurry now, because I know there won't be that big time pressure, because you can really take your time. If you are preparing for Mage Tower challenges, this is just a couple of days. Things that you might want to look for would include old gear sets. Specifically, what I ended up doing my Mage Tower challenges with across almost all of my characters was like a mix of Siege of Orgrimmar and Throne of Thunder gear that was just jammed full of gems, main stat gems. The reason it's Siege gear and Throne of Thunder gear, even though the item level is lower, is because of all of the extra gem slots. And then getting specific trinkets was really important. Every class will have different things recommended, but the Unblinking Gaze of Seath came into play for basically all of my casters, and then some of my non-casters. And then the Seed Pod trinket from Emerald Nightmare came in really clutch for my Agi users. I used that for both of the Hunter challenges I did, and then also for Guardian Druid. So those are some things to look for if you are setting up for Mage Tower. I would also check your consumable stash. Make sure you're looking at food, flasks, potions, scrolls, runes, enchants, armor kits, all that kind of stuff. After the last round of challenges, there are some more like complete guides available with like exact lists of what to use. And then in any video that I've put up of my Mage Tower challenges, I show what I used, which is not always the best possible thing to use, but it's usually the best affordable thing to use. What else? We had official confirmation that there will be another story chapter, just one more coming with this upcoming reset. It's going to be called Judgment and dealing with the culmination of the Sylvanas story. I know that I was a bit confused on whether or not we were done with story chapters, because if you look in the game, in the campaign quest section of your quest log, it sure looks like we're done, but there is one more chapter coming next week. And then this week was the week that brought us double legendaries onto live servers. So I've got my Unity now. I recrafted it onto boots because the base item for the belt was kind of expensive, and because I don't want to cover a tier slot, just in case like the tier fairy decides to bless me, I've offended her somehow. Anyways, double legendaries has been awesome for a lot of things, but in particular, I have found it really good for Mythic Plus. My Mythic Plus groups have gone from like barely timing some keys to two chesting them, like from 1 week to the next. It was that big of a difference, even with the kind of gnarly affixes that we've got this week. Everybody's damage has just kind of gone through the roof, so it's going to be much easier to get Keystone Master now that we're all kind of like trucking along much faster. I'm playing Kyrian Holy Priest in Mythic Plus keys and having Boon of the Ascended for almost every pull, and sometimes 2 or 3 times in a pull if it's a very long pull with a lot of stuff in it, has been like really, really fun. Other news, patch 9.2.5 was surprise released onto the PTR, and that means data mining has begun. We have a few more ideas of other things that might be coming aside from just the cross-faction gameplay. One thing is a Slimesaber mount. There's just hints. We don't have a model yet, but there are hints that a Slimesaber mount is coming. This is one of the options for that mount pull back in the day that didn't win. The tree won, and then we ended up getting the book mount for the Mage Tower. So it looks like the Slime Cat may make its way into the next patch. I am still holding out hope and waiting very patiently and hoping that one day, if they're doing these ones, that one day maybe the Caterpillar will get here, because that was what I voted for and I want it very much. And then the other thing from PTR that jumped out at me was Dark Iron Dwarves are getting another heritage quest line, kind of. There is a very short Dark Iron Dwarf quest line for characters that are heritage eligible, that like already have their Dark Iron heritage sets, and it gets them a new mount and some Dark Iron weapons that like match their heritage sets, which I thought was really cool. I'm also surprised that they're doing something like this before they've finished adding regular heritage sets for the rest of the races that don't have them, but I just hope that they get to those eventually. Humans and undead, and then night elves and orcs all feel like kind of likely candidates based on how widely played they are, but those are all races that got very strongly themed sets from the war fronts that were added in BFA, so that may have pushed them down at the bottom of the list. I don't know what the excuse for pandas is, though. They've been waiting a long time. And then in my life this week, I am still so unlucky with tier, to the point that I've done the math and added it up. I haven't done the math. I don't know the probability, but I will tell you that I have currently, after 4 weeks of raiding, no pieces of tier. I've opened 3 vaults that had at least 6 options each. I have done 19 boss kills of bosses that could drop me tier, spread across LFR, normal, and then now getting into heroic, and I have not received a single piece. The creation catalyst is coming, and that's going to be a way to craft tier, but it's only going to be 1 piece at a week, and it's not coming until April the 12th for NA, which is still another 2 weeks away, and I am salty because it feels really bad to fall behind like this when you're really, really trying your best to get there. I feel like my throughput is still fine because I'm a holy priest and we're just strong right now, and also because I have gotten item level. You know, I've still gotten gear, it's just not been tier gear. But holy moly, am I going to be excited when I finally get my 2 and 4 set, because I have been staring at no pieces for a little bit too long, and it's making me not fun to talk to. Aside from that, Mythic Plus keystones have been fun. I think I'm going to do some in a couple of minutes and then just edit this really late, and that's going to be fine. I've been getting quite close to Keystone Master. I think I can get that this week, if not next week, if I just get like a couple of really choice keys in, although one of them would be a fortified Tazavesh Streets, and whew. And then questions for this week. Sleepy and Tired asks, I just recently finished all of my Cypher research, so what do I spend my Cypher currency on? Saw a couple soul shapes in the Poke Battle Pet, but anything meaningful? No, not really. Most of what you're going to get from Cypher is from dumping it into your table. So if you've gotten everything on your table, you know, you've unlocked the Pale Regal Cervid protoform synthesis thing at the Mount Forge because you've unlocked everything. You're rank 6 with your table, so you're getting 252 gear. That's all the important stuff. On that same vendor where you're looking at the Pokepoke Battle Pet and the Soul Shapes, there is also something called an Olea Cache. It costs 700 Cyphers. It has a chance to contain specific weapon transmogs that are BOE, so you can learn them or sell them, or skip the cache and buy them on the auction house. They're kind of like, you know, Zereth Mortis themed weapons. Some of them are cooler than others, but they're cool. And then the caches also have a chance to contain things like Progenitor Essentia. They contain usually Genesis motes. They can contain flat gold, I think, although usually it's just a couple of silver. And then they can also contain things like special crafting items for protoform synthesis. So they can contain your unalloyed bronze ingots. They can contain lattices. I actually got really lucky and got a Vespoid lattice and a transmog weapon out of my last one, which is pretty cool. But be warned that I wouldn't recommend buying them until you truly have nothing left to buy, because there is a nothing chance that that cache for 700 Cyphers is going to contain like 20 Genesis motes and 10 silver, and that's so rude. I wish they would at least bump up either the motes preferably, or like the base mote, so it always contains like at least like 100 motes at least would be nice, or the gold aspect of it, but being able to have it contain next to nothing is so rude. But that's what I'm spending mine on, because at that point there's nothing left. And then Axel wants to know, what was the point of the little teleport flight path system on the last chapter before you earn flying? The one you spend 30 cosmic energy per flight for seems like a lot of work for something that we'll never use again. So there are a couple of reasons to go back and mess with that after you're finished the quest line. You can actually unlock new teleports by finding and attuning to like different runes in the area. And there's 2 of them that I know of that are actually genuinely useful. So there's one of them that will get you the repertory alcove area where the requisites originator thingy is. And basically what this is it's a secret room that you can get to that has a big thing that will spit something out for you once a week, and you get to choose what you want. This is the only source, aside from the Olea Cache, of getting the unalloyed bronze ingot protoform synthesis material. So you want to loot it at least once a week if you're trying to craft protoform synthesis mounts. I could not explain to you quickly how to get there, but there's a Wowhead comment that explained it very well to me that I will put on the screen, and also, you know, I'll like link it so you can check that out if you're interested. And then the other thing was the snail minigame for the unsuccessful prototype fleet pod schematic. There is a protoform synthesis mount schematic. This whole patch is a mouthful that you can get in one of those extra special rooms that you have to like unlock and attune. So the system is for a few more things, but not a whole lot. I agree, it seems like quite a bit just for something that you don't use much, but there are a few more secrets sprinkled in there, and who knows, maybe you have to like, you know, spell out the alphabet or like some mathematical equation with teleporting around in order to unlock the secret, you know, Pokepoke customizations, because nobody knows where those are. And it's got to be something either broken or really dumb, or maybe you have to kill the mythic jailer. Who is to say? That's a different issue. Anyways, that has been the week. Thank you very much for watching. If you've got a question for one of these videos, please pop it in the comments and include the word question to help me find it. Stop by a stream sometime if you like, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.